Imagine waking up each day with a mind that's clear and free, a mind that no longer drowns in worry, regret, or endless what-ifs. In today's video, we explore timeless Stoic wisdom that shows you how to stop worrying and truly start living. Drawing on the insights of Marcus Aurelius and other ancient philosophers, we reveal practical strategies to shift your focus from unproductive fears to living fully in the present. You'll learn how to reclaim control over your thoughts, transform anxiety into purposeful action, and cultivate inner peace even amidst life's chaos. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by the weight of your own thoughts, this journey is for you. Stay with us as we unlock the secrets to a calmer, more empowered life. One of the most liberating truths of Stoic philosophy is the realization that 90% of our worries never come to pass. Our minds, especially at night, are prone to replaying past mistakes and envisioning catastrophic future scenarios. This relentless cycle of what-if not only drains our energy, but also prevents us from living in the present. I once found myself lying awake, haunted by the possibility of failure in every upcoming meeting and project. Over time, I learned that these fears were like shadows, intense in our imagination, yet rarely materializing in reality. By understanding that most of what we worry about is built on illusions, we can start to dismantle these mental traps. The Stoics taught that our emotional suffering comes not from events themselves, but from our interpretation of those events. When we give undue power to our fears, we let them dictate our mood and actions. Marcus Aurelius urged us to confront our anxieties head-on, using rationality as our guide. A fundamental Stoic lesson is that the past is beyond our control and the future is uncertain. True power lies in the present moment, the only time we can actively shape. When we allow our thoughts to drift into regrets or fears, we lose the opportunity to engage fully with what is happening right now. Imagine dividing your day into small, manageable moments. When you're eating, savor each bite. When you're walking, feel every step and take in the surroundings. This intentional presence can shift your focus from what might have been or what might be to the reality of now. I once had a period when my mind was constantly preoccupied with a past failure and an uncertain future. I began practicing mindfulness, simply taking a few deep breaths throughout the day to ground myself in the present. Gradually, I noticed that I started appreciating the beauty of everyday moments. A smile from a stranger, the sound of birds chirping, or the simple pleasure of a well-brewed cup of coffee. These small present moment joys helped me reclaim my peace and reduce my overall anxiety. A key Stoic practice is to clearly identify what you are worrying about. By naming your worries, you begin to see them as concrete challenges rather than vague, overwhelming fears. Write it down. Start by jotting down everything that's on your mind. The act of putting your thoughts on paper can provide clarity. Ask probing questions. What exactly are you afraid might happen? What is the worst-case scenario? How likely is it really to occur? Premeditatio malorum. This Stoic practice involves envisioning the worst possible outcomes, not to dwell on them, but to prepare yourself mentally. Often, you'll find that the worst-case scenario is something you can handle. If you're anxious about an upcoming presentation, rather than letting fear paralyze you, write down your specific concerns. Is it the fear of forgetting your points? Worrying about how you'll be judged? Once you see these fears on paper, assess them logically. You might discover that the probability of failure is minimal and that you have strategies in place to address each concern. I once found that my mind would spiral into a maze of worries about a big project. By writing down each fear and objectively assessing its likelihood, I was able to break the cycle of anxiety. This practice taught me that clarity is the first step to regaining control. Overthinking can often lead to analysis paralysis, where you become so caught up in your thoughts that you fail to act. Stoicism teaches us that action is the key to breaking this cycle. Each small step forward is not just progress, it's a way to reclaim your power and build momentum. Instead of letting your thoughts spiral, take a concrete step. Even a tiny action like jotting down a plan or making a phone call can create a sense of movement and progress that overcomes the inertia of overthinking. Think about the common scenario of a looming deadline. Instead of obsessing over every possible outcome and letting anxiety build, break the task into smaller, actionable items. Each completed step not only eases your mind, but also reinforces the idea that you are in control. I once had an idea for a project that consumed my mind for weeks. I overanalyzed every detail until I felt completely stuck. Finally, I decided to take one small action, just writing a brief outline. That single step broke the cycle of overthinking and set off a chain reaction of progress. With each small victory, my confidence grew, and I learned that the journey towards success is built one step at a time. Living in the present and cultivating gratitude are essential practices for combating overthinking. When you focus on the moment, you ground yourself in reality and free your mind from the constant barrage of worries about the past or future. Mindfulness meditation. Dedicate time each day to meditate and bring your focus to the present. Gratitude journaling. At the end of the day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. This shifts your attention from what is missing to what is abundant in your life. Personal story. During a particularly stressful phase, I began to incorporate a simple practice. Every morning, I'd spend a few minutes meditating, and every night I'd jot down things I was grateful for. Initially, it was challenging to quiet my racing thoughts. However, over time, these practices helped me to notice and appreciate the small moments, a kind gesture from a coworker, the beauty of a sunset, or the comfort of a warm meal. These habits gradually transformed my mindset, reducing my anxiety and fostering a deeper sense of contentment. One of the most transformative lessons from Stoicism is the power of reframing. Instead of allowing negative experiences to define you, view them as opportunities to learn and grow. By changing your perspective, you transform potential failures into valuable lessons. Key technique: when you encounter a setback or a moment of embarrassment, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Rather than dwelling on what went wrong, focus on how this experience can make you stronger and more resilient. Example: suppose you receive harsh criticism on a project. Your initial reaction might be to feel demoralized, but a Stoic approach would encourage you to analyze the feedback objectively. Look for constructive elements. Perhaps there's a valid point that can help you improve. This shift in perspective not only eases the sting of criticism, but also turns it into a catalyst for growth. Personal reflection. I once received feedback that felt brutally unfair. Instead of wallowing in self-doubt, I took time to reflect on the criticism. I discovered that behind the harsh words lay a lesson about clarity and communication. By reframing that moment, I was able to improve my work and approach similar situations with greater confidence and insight. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the understanding that while we cannot control every external event, we always have the power to control our responses. This principle, known as the dichotomy of control, teaches us to invest our energy in what lies within our influence, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, while letting go of what is beyond our control. Key strategy. Whenever you find yourself overwhelmed by events outside your control, remind yourself that your reaction is the only thing you can truly manage. Redirect your focus from worrying about the uncontrollable to taking deliberate action in areas where you can make a difference. Example: imagine you're caught in a sudden rainstorm while on your way to an important meeting. Instead of succumbing to frustration, use that time to reflect or simply enjoy the moment. This mindset not only calms your nerves, but also reinforces your ability to adapt to unforeseen circumstances. Personal story. There was a period in my career when unexpected setbacks were a regular occurrence. Initially, I would spiral into worry about factors I had no control over: market fluctuations, unanticipated delays, and sudden changes in plans. By focusing on my own actions, preparing better, communicating clearly, and maintaining a calm demeanor, I began to see that my peace of mind was not at the mercy of external events. This shift in focus not only reduced my stress, but also empowered me to take charge of my own destiny. Mentally strong individuals understand that their self-worth is not determined by external accolades or the approval of others. The Stoics taught that your intrinsic value comes from living in accordance with your own principles and virtues. Overthinking often stems from a fear of judgment and the desire for constant validation. When you detach your self-worth from what others think, you liberate yourself from the endless cycle of comparison and self-doubt. This internal validation is the cornerstone of lasting confidence and emotional resilience. Remind yourself daily that your value is inherent and independent of external opinions. Celebrate your achievements, no matter how small, and let them reinforce your sense of self. Focus on your personal journey, rather than measuring yourself against the ever-changing standards of society. For many years, I struggled with the need to impress others, constantly seeking approval from colleagues, friends, and even strangers on social media. Over time, I learned that my worth wasn't tied to these fleeting validations, but was rooted in my commitment to my own values and goals. By shifting my focus inward, I experienced a profound sense of freedom and authenticity that transformed my relationships and my overall sense of well-being. One of the most powerful remedies for overthinking is to convert mental energy into action. When you're caught in a loop of incessant thought, every minute spent in analysis is a minute not spent moving forward. The Stoic philosophy emphasizes that progress is made through action, no matter how small. Each action you take, whether it's a tiny step or a giant leap, builds momentum and creates a positive feedback loop that diminishes overthinking. Action is the catalyst that transforms potential energy into real achievement. If you're anxious about an upcoming project, instead of letting your thoughts spiral into doubt, break the project into small tasks. Tackle one task at a time and watch as your progress builds confidence and reduces anxiety. I once had an idea that consumed my thoughts for weeks. I spent so long planning every detail in my mind that I never actually started. When I finally decided to take one small action, simply writing down a rough outline, I broke free from the paralysis of overanalysis. That single step led to a series of actions that eventually turned the idea into reality. This experience taught me that action, however modest, is the key to overcoming overthinking and achieving meaningful progress. Mindful reflection is a cornerstone of Stoic practice. Regular self-examination helps you understand your emotions, identify unproductive thought patterns, and reinforce positive habits. Through practices such as journaling and meditation, you can gain clarity and maintain a balanced perspective. Daily journaling. Write about your experiences, focusing on moments of worry and how you responded. Meditation. Set aside a few minutes each day to meditate and bring your focus to the present moment. Self-reflection. Regularly review your thoughts and actions to understand what triggers overthinking and how you can better manage your responses. Personal reflection. I started journaling during a period of intense stress, and it quickly became a mirror for my inner world. By reflecting on my day-to-day experiences and noting what triggered my worries, I began to notice patterns that I could change. This process not only reduced my anxiety, but also enhanced my overall clarity, enabling me to approach challenges with a more measured and thoughtful mindset. The pursuit of perfection is a common source of overthinking. However, Stoicism teaches us that perfection is an illusion and that our imperfections are a natural part of the human experience. By accepting that mistakes are inevitable, you can free yourself from the paralyzing fear of failure. Key insight: every misstep is an opportunity to learn and improve. Rather than dwelling on what went wrong, focus on what you can learn from the experience and how it can propel you forward. Shift your perspective. View every mistake as a valuable lesson rather than a personal shortcoming. Celebrate growth. Acknowledge small victories and improvements, recognizing that progress is more important than perfection. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend who made a mistake. Personal reflection. I started journaling during a period of intense stress, and it quickly became a mirror for my inner world. By reflecting on my day-to-day experiences and noting what triggered my worries, I began to notice patterns that I could change. This process not only reduced my anxiety, but also enhanced my overall clarity, enabling me to approach challenges with a more measured and thoughtful mindset. The pursuit of perfection is a common source of overthinking. However, Stoicism teaches us that perfection is an illusion and that our imperfections are a natural part of the human experience. By accepting that mistakes are inevitable, you can free yourself from the paralyzing fear of failure. Key insight: every misstep is an opportunity to learn and improve. Rather than dwelling on what went wrong, focus on what you can learn from the experience and how it can propel you forward. Shift your perspective. View every mistake as a valuable lesson rather than a personal shortcoming. Celebrate growth. Acknowledge small victories and improvements, recognizing that progress is more important than perfection. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend who made a mistake. If you're working on a fitness goal, rather than obsessing over the number on the scale, focus on the consistency of your workouts, the healthy habits you're forming, and the increased energy you feel. Over time, the physical changes will follow, but the primary reward is the resilience and discipline you build in the process. I once struggled with feeling disheartened when my efforts didn't immediately yield the results I hoped for. By shifting my focus to the process, the daily actions, the discipline, and the learning, I began to appreciate the journey itself. This internal validation has been far more sustaining than any external praise ever could be. The ultimate goal of these Stoic lessons is to help you create a life where worry is minimized and action is maximized. By integrating the principles of clear thinking, mindful reflection, and purposeful action, you can transform the way you approach every challenge. Worry is often a product of overthinking. Recognize that most fears are exaggerated and rarely come to pass. The present moment is your most valuable asset. Focus on living fully in the now, rather than being trapped in regrets or anxieties about the future. Action is the antidote to mental paralysis. Every small step you take builds momentum and transforms potential energy into tangible progress. Your true value comes from within. Cultivate inner worth by living according to your own principles and values, rather than seeking external validation. Embrace imperfection, learn from every mistake and view challenges as opportunities for growth. Mindfulness and gratitude are powerful tools. They anchor you in the present and foster a positive, resilient mindset. Reflect and learn. Regular self-reflection helps you understand your emotional patterns and reinforces your ability to respond with wisdom. Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey into the heart of Stoicism. Today, we learned that while we can't control every event in our lives, we always have the power to choose how we respond, turning worry into action and setbacks into opportunities for growth. As you go forward, remember that living fully means embracing each moment with clarity and courage. If these insights resonated with you, there's so much more to uncover. In our next video, we'll delve deeper into advanced Stoic techniques for mastering emotional resilience and building a life of purpose and inner peace. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a step on your journey toward a more balanced and empowered life. Until next time, keep embracing the present, take action, and let your inner strength guide you every day.